continuing, we decided to go the route of taking question and answers, and so that we are able to, for those who have questions or you need any area of clarification, maybe at our workplaces or during our hands-on practical classes, we stumbled upon any issue. So we deemed it fit to dedicate this session to question and answer. And I think we can start. So if anyone has any question that you feel that you want to ask, let's go. Please. Thank you. So we have people who would attend to our question. So please, let's have the floor. Okay, so while we're trying to think about something to ask, so personally during the week I was trying to create an amount field in Power App. So this is how it works. So maybe I was trying to create like an application that had to do with money. So it means that I needed to format my text control such that I want to see Naira and I want to see semicolon. You know the normal Naira format. So if I want to write 1,000 for instance, I want to comma then 3 zeros. So I should be able to see the money without straining my eyes. So after much ado, I found out that I could actually insert a label within the card. So in that label, I added the Naira. So I placed it beside the text control. So on the text control itself, I created another label with the so I text function, and I specify the name of that control within the text function. Then I did a set variable, comma. So maybe the variable could be amount variable, so to speak, comma. Then I now did my text function, comma, in brackets. Then the name of the text control, comma. Then I put the the normal formatting that you do for currency. So I now set the default value of that control. I set it to that variable, and I tell you, in fact, it was marvelous. So what it means is that I will have to just hide that label. I hid that label. That's what I did. So we can also, in case what I'm supposed to do, I think that I should have found a way to demonstrate this. But if you have those who want to ask their questions too, they can go ahead while I try to see if I can quickly demo something now. So if anybody has something to talk about, or you also have any question to ask, please go ahead while I try to open my environment to see if I can quickly demo that. Thank you. Tunde, David, Kola, are we here? So we can try to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are here. So if you have any question as regards Power BI, as regards Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, any question, maybe while you're doing anything, that's what we are here for. Just ask.
I think we can just talk about
question.
experience.
Let me ask one question.
Okay,
so for Power Apps, that is, I think, for Power Apps, let me just ask. So there's a lady, Victoria, on Twitter. So she was asking, she said that, I'm trying to remember the tweet, but I have to go back and remember the tweet, but she said that it is hard, people don't see Power Apps developer roles in companies. She actually said it this week. I think it's this week, yes. So how do we solve that? Maybe I can just tell it, I can just talk to her later on, but how do you solve that career path for a Power Apps developer?
Okay, please, Sunday, please, do you want to answer that for us, please?
Okay. So I think the challenge basically is because the technology is still kind of relatively new. So like you hardly see roles around Power Apps. Like the first time I even saw a role on like Power Apps developer or thereabout was probably late last year or thereabout. And I'm not sure if I've seen that more than twice or thrice or thereabout. So it's kind of really rare. I'm sure like very soon more opportunities will be coming around that area where people will be requesting for Power Apps, Power BI. I know Power BI. You kind of see Power BI more often than maybe Power Apps or Power Automate, right? But I'm sure like very soon we should start seeing job roles. Most of the ones I've seen are actually outside of Nigeria. So I've seen some Power Apps roles, but they are mostly outside Nigeria. Around Nigeria, it's very rare because it's something people are really just getting into. Like not until maybe last year, it wasn't like as popular, right? So across the world, self, not just Nigeria now, perhaps was just kind of getting into something people were started using and all of that. Let's say like last year, that was when it's kind of really gained that ground. So that's why it might be a bit rare. I think a role you might see that might kind of be similar would be maybe a SharePoint developer. So basically, when you see roles around SharePoint developers, these days they would also require that you have the knowledge of like Power Apps, Power Automate, and the likes. So that's basically what you might kind of find. But I'm sure very soon we should be seeing more opportunities around that area. I hope that answered it, David.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so I
So
think I think as an addendum to that, so most often for opportunities that I have come across, they might not, strictly specify that Power Apps developer, because of course it's still adoption is still low and the awareness is still low. So oftentimes you get to see like SharePoint developer. You understand? So when you see SharePoint developer, what it means is somebody who can actually automate processes. So it is until when you say, okay, this is the approach that I can use. Before, you can do info part development, you can say C sharp from Visual Studio to create your processes. But these days, it's about Power Apps, and you can also do SharePoint REST API to build processes, and maybe probably SharePoint Designer and Visual Studio workflow. But that's what I think. It's the path is clear. If you want to be a Power Apps guru or this thing, just keep doing some of these things regularly. Create apps up the top of your head, and I'm sure by the time you do it consistently, you get to become a guru. And when opportunity comes, for instance, that's why we're having this Naija Power series. If you volunteer to also showcase some of the things that you've done, so it's also an avenue for you to also add more. You see people who comment, you know you also see people who would later come to you and say they have this issue, and even if you don't know it, you also go ahead to assist them in googling and all of those things. By the time you resolve it, these are opportunities for you to also you know
Okay, I think we have Ola Charles raising his hand.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Can I confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay. Uh,
just keep doing
IB, since your network is
Yeah.
The more people.
Okay, okay. Can I
okay.
go ahead now and
Yes, you
ask
can
my
go ahead.
question?
Yes, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you, our guest, Babatunde Akande. I think I'm getting familiar with Okay,
All right.
so I have a question. Maybe I should first commend this community because the Western world, they understand the importance of community as it has helped a lot of people to achieve more. I mean, going together on that same journey. I've leveraged on this community to get one or two urgent tasks done. I can say where I work at AXA Nigeria. I've implemented about 4 or 5 use cases for Power Automate. I don't use Power Apps. I'm a Power Automate guy. I'm more concerned about processes and I believe building application might not fly in my department because we have a unique technology team that is started with the responsibility of building applications. And but can I automate some processes and make things simpler without even involving the technology team? Yes, and that is what I'm currently doing. My question is, I want to ask for a possibility. Is there any way? Maybe I have a customer and I want to get something from the customer. Customer need to send me a picture. Is there any way I can collect this picture without? Is there any way I can send a link to this customer and the customer then follow the link and upload the picture? Just a question. That do you have any solution? Maybe SharePoint combined with Power Automate. I don't really want to go to Power Apps, but is there any way to go around that kind of solution?
I think so. The option would have been like when you need to upload. So if it was just information, right, you need them to send specific details. It would be easier with maybe using Microsoft Forms. Then you can get response and push it to maybe your SharePoint or whatever you want to put it within your environment. But then when it requires you to attach a document, even though Microsoft Forms now has a function to attach files, but you can't do that with external users. It's only possible within the organization. So if you need something to attach a document, I would think you might have to be looking at maybe a third-party tool. So maybe a third-party tool that allows you to, upload a document and submit that record. Then you can then use that, get the information from that third party, and then push it to your own environment. But like out of the box on Microsoft technologies, I'm not very sure. I'm not very sure. I don't know if Mr. Ibrahim still there or any other person that can correct me if I'm wrong.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
In addition to what you said, I think I've seen something like that before. Maybe you can try and use Power Apps, and then you have a guest, or you have them register. You register them on your Azure as a guest, so that they can do it through Power Apps, so that you can share the app with them. I think I've seen someone that has done something like that before. That guests
Yep.
can use Power Apps, but you make sure that they have an account in Azure as a guest.
Oh, I see.
But I think he doesn't want to use Power Apps, so he's looking at Power Automate and Go.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Because let's look at it as a company. I have my own mobile application. Individuals do not want to. In fact, many of them prefer to use the USSD because of the limited storage on their mobile devices. A lot of application is calling for attention these days. But I like the comment from Tunde. It's helpful. I don't care if I can use a third-party application. then my mind, what I've been thinking in my mind, that is it possible to have, I mean, can someone outside the company and outside the organization access a SharePoint website that belongs to the organization? Is it possible?
Yes, you can share it with somebody externally, but then the person would need to, so you need to share it with a specific email address, right?
Yeah.
So the person will need to like authenticate with that email address we've shared it with, but the user will be able to access the SharePoint site.
Okay, great. So
Okay,
if the user can, is there any feature of building a form feed on SharePoint site, including file upload option?
Yes, but then you'll be looking at custom developments. So you might need to be looking for a way to, write codes and all of that to get that achieved, most likely.
Okay, and also with what Tunde said, I'm actually looking at forms now. You can actually demand a picture from forms, Microsoft Forms.
But
So,
yes, but the person must be within the organization.
so for normal forms, normally you can actually do from outside. Forms, there's a way you share that anybody outside can also, anybody with the link can also get it. It's a normal thing. Form is
But
not
they
only
can't
inside the
upload.
organization. Can you hear me, Charles?
Yes. So if you share your form with someone outside the organization, the person cannot upload file.
Yes, yes, I understand what Ola is saying. If you the file upload button in Microsoft Forms only works for, sorry, hi, good evening, only works for the people within your organization. So by the time you are sharing, if you switch the options of Microsoft Forms to like external, anybody can respond to this. Excuse me, I'm on the call. Anybody can respond to this link. Then they'll upload, this thing will be grayed out. So that's what Charles is referring to.
Yeah.
I think that's
So
a
I
nice
think what
question. You can try the form. You can try the form with Power Automate. You should be able to get something out of that. And alternatively is the route today mentioned. You can create just a simple SharePoint page with an upload. Then you can, with Power Automate, you can also work with that. So you can try any of those two.
And you can try from within Microsoft Teams also. You can add the person, sitting behind Teams is SharePoint. I don't know if we've mentioned this earlier already. You can add the person to your team, your Teams team workspace. And then once you do that, depending on the external sharing settings that you have set for your guest users, the person should be able to upload files into Microsoft Teams, which eventually sits on SharePoint at the back end.
That's another angle. That's interesting. Thank you. I would like to know SharePoint gurus in our community, because the SharePoint feature seems to be more appropriate with the use case that I'm developing. I really appreciate this comment.
The gurus are here. Gurus like Ibrahim and Tunde. We are still learning.
Interesting.
We're learning from the masters.
Yeah. That's fine. So that I won't stress this. At least I've gotten some valuable points. I have a direction now. It's just to say, okay, do I have the skill which I can? That one is another discussion. I really appreciate the responses. Thank you.
Yeah, gurus here. If you see, there's Kola, there's Amara. I can see them, and those we don't know too. But don't worry, just drop your questions. I'm sure somebody will pick it, right?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's keep our questions coming. I think it's fun so far, so let's keep them coming. In fact, this question that he just asked, I think is an eye opener for some of us again. So anytime we also come across such a requirement, we don't need to start cracking our head. Just just refer to this video, and boom, we should be able to do that. So please, let's keep our questions coming. Are we there?
Yeah, we are here.
Okay,
I
so
think
I was
Yinka was using up his hand before. I don't know.
I have a question.
okay. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Hello.
Yeah, my name is. Hello.
Yes, you said your name is what?
My name is Yinka.
Okay, please, Yinka, go ahead.
Okay. Please, I have a question. Please, I'm working on a Power Apps application. I want to design it for maybe like an engineering company. So what they do is they usually go to site and then they take pictures of their site visit. So I'm trying to do something like they will take a series of pictures of a particular site visit and then push it to SharePoint as a data source. But I got to a point that I can take a picture and do a collection of those pictures. But when I'm trying to push it to SharePoint, I discovered I'm only pushing one particular picture to SharePoint instead of I want a situation that I'll push like maybe like 5 pictures at a time, and all those 5 pictures will have the same ID from SharePoint so that they'll be able to differentiate from another picture they took from another site inspection. So I don't know, maybe in the community somebody have done something similar before.
Wow, awesome. Caller, do you want to take this or?
So if I get the question right, you are trying to upload more than a document, right, into your SharePoint list.
A picture, yes, like
picture, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
With SharePoint, you can have multiple attachments. That is your pictures in this sense. So on your Power Apps, there is a way you can specify the number of attachments that you want your application, your attachment to take, and it should send to your data, to your database, which is your SharePoint list. So I think you need to do is just to get them named. Your document named in such a way that by the time you go to your SharePoint list, you can always see it. And also, we have the edit form in your SharePoint, in your Power Apps. If you upload one now, and maybe you want to add one later, you can always go back to your to your Power Apps, then click on the data that you sent already, you edit, then you add another one. I think you can add up to 15 files on your Power Apps. So I think that should answer your question.
So sorry, let me add to what I asked. It's just like I'm using camera function
Okay.
to take the pictures. You can, like, what I did is once I'm taking the picture, there's a collection that is collecting all those pictures.
Okay.
So I can see those pictures in my collection. But I'm trying to use, you can use a flow from Power Apps, because based on what I've read so far is you use flow to push from Power Apps to SharePoint. You can't patch it from Power Apps to SharePoint. So I was able to, once I used the flow, but I did it in such a way that it should push all the files, all the pictures to SharePoint. But I'm thinking maybe SharePoint is having that issue of giving each of the pictures the same ID. So I want a station that I'll be able to push like 5 pictures, but to make use of the ID for all of those pictures at once. Then if I take another picture, so it will use the ID for all of for all the pictures too. So
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
I hear you.
Okay. So is it that just one picture is saving, or you are able to save all those 5 pictures?
Just one is saving. Maybe it will take the last picture out of the
Okay.
5 picture.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know how you wrote your function though, but I'm thinking you might need to use like a for all function that will kind of loop through all of the items within that collection and push it to your flow. So you are uploading it to a document library on SharePoint, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Okay, good. So then the ID you are talking about. Okay, so are you able to submit that ID for that one that you are pushing?
Normally if you submit an item in SharePoint, maybe a document
Yeah,
library list, there's
you have
always
the
an
ID.
ID
Okay,
attached to. So I
okay,
want the session that the ID that SharePoint is assigning will be for all the pictures, so that you'll be able to differentiate. You have series of pictures, but with that single ID for all of them, you'll be able to differentiate from the next site visit.
all right. So number one, that is not possible to have the same SharePoint ID for 2 items within the same list or library. So you have to first note that. So what you can do in that case is create an additional column, right? So that column will now be your new ID. You can call this maybe like a reference ID or something. So that's where you then pass whatever ID you want to pass. So that one will be a field whereby you can have multiple items within the same library have that ID. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay.
So all of the items within that you are passing at the same time, all of them can then have that ID you are passing to it. You understand? But you can't have 2 items have the same ID within the same library. So that is not possible, either within a list or within a library on SharePoint. So that ID is unique. You see that you can't even modify that ID. So but when you are using when in that kind of scenario, what you just need to do is create an additional column, which we now use as your reference ID. So after uploading each item, so I don't know how you want to first get your ID. Is there a way you are trying to get an ID to pass to it?
I'm just thinking if it is possible that from SharePoint, it
Okay.
will just assume that those series of pictures should be for one particular ID.
Okay. Are you submitting anything to the list, or you are just submitting it to that document library
I'm sending to document library.
alone?
Yes,
Because
document library.
another scenario would have been that if you have a list whereby there's like a one-to-many relationship, whereby when you submit an item to the list, then you can use the ID of that item on the list to link it. I use it as a reference ID for all the other items on that library. But in this case,
Today, I think, sorry to cut you there. So I think it should be straightforward. So what I think you can also do, Tunde has actually said it. So it's just, you can just create at the point where you're uploading the pictures, just have a request ID. Let it have a format. Maybe for example, request 01, or you can use the now timestamp. You know the now or today. Do you know how to use now, that function now or
Yeah.
today? You can
Yeah.
use it to generate a unique ID for every request. That's all. That means you have to create a column called the request ID. So for all the uploads that you are making at that point, they will have the same request ID, and you can reference them with that. You understand? I think that's what Sunday is also trying to say. So, but he's saying that you can create a list, have some information on that list, get the ID, and attach it to this document that you are uploading. So, but the ball is now in your court to decide on whichever way.
All right. Thank you.
All right, welcome. Thank you today. Thank you, Kola. So we take more questions. I think so far these 2 questions have been marvelous, or 3 rather. So they are really eye opener for us. Even some of us that have not done some of these things, we're thinking and we're seeing how we are able to easily do this or possibly do this. So I think that I'm enjoying this session so far. So please, let's keep them coming. So we have questions. If you have questions around Power BI, questions around Power Virtual Agents, Power Apps, Power Automate, please, let's ask. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I've been raising my hands, but maybe it's not that visible. So I'm not asking question now, although I have another question. I just want to put it together. I just want to speak to the just concluded question. So last week I had a similar use case, just like he has mentioned, and I created a workaround for myself, which it might not be that really relevant to what he wants to do. What I did was to create a button on Microsoft Power Automate. So I have a button that's an instant flow. So another button, I just have the input. I use customer number and different upload fields. So depending on, maybe I want to upload about 5 different images. So I have these upload fields. So through the button, anytime I trigger the button, I can just put in the customer number, which is unique, and then upload and I can upload from my directory or take a camera of that image. And I have it about 5. And once I click on the submit button, everything gets uploaded to the SharePoint site with that unique ID, with a unique ID. And I also collected some metadata. So, okay, the location where the guy was uploading it, the time, the exact address, longitude, latitude, and all those things. So but I don't know. Maybe I need help. I don't know Power Apps at all. I don't understand what you guys are saying. Anything that I think about, I always try to look around Power Automate and SharePoint, how I can get my problem solved. So that was how I went around that particular task last week.
Oh, that's great. So just see Power Apps as a means of gathering data. So what I mean is, like, you need some data and you need to carry out like a kind of survey, or like a kind of, you need to send questionnaires to people so that you want to gather information or data. In fact, you want to gather data. So that interface that you are building is what Power Apps actually does. So your app is actually allow you to collect data. So that's just basically, maybe some other persons also have their own input on that.
Yeah, and it's very close to your Microsoft Forms that you use already, except that it gives you have a nicer look, and a lot of additional functionalities are also really the interface. That's what it is. It's the interface to do everything you want to do, get your information and validations and other things. That's really what Power Apps is.
Okay.
Okay, I can see Abdullah or did you ask a question? Please go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay. My question is it possible to have 2 attachment columns in a Power App? Like, for example,
Mr. Tunde, please have the floor. Please, can you assist us?
Okay. So you want to have, SharePoint list as one default attachment column, right?
Yes.
So you want to have 2 different ones on the Power Apps.
Yeah, on Power Apps, so that users will be able to upload, let's say for 2 different departments, having two attachment columns. Do you understand?
Okay. I would say yes, but okay. So let me first ask: are you expecting the 2 attachments to still both submit to the SharePoint list? Should it be like, should the attachment be attached to that item on the list?
Yes, not necessarily. It can go to a document library too.
Okay, yeah. So if it's going to go to a document library, then I would say yes. So
Okay.
from there, you can kind of pass the different attachment columns, the different attachment fields, the files in them to a document library. But in that case, you are going to need Power Automate to achieve that, such that you then be able to pass those files you have attached to a document library. So which is kind of the question I think Yinka asked. You understand? So then in that case, you now be able, you now find a way to link the ID of the item on your list to the attachment. You understand? So the way I do is when I need to use more than one attachment field on a form is, so when you insert a form on your Power Apps, right? You had the attachment column. So because there is no attachment control, at least it's not there anymore. I think it used to be there sometimes ago, but it's not there anymore. So you can't insert an attachment control. So what I do is, when you had a list, you had a form rather, on your Power Apps, that attachment control, what you just do is just copy out that control, right?
Okay.
Insert a new custom data card, then paste that attachment control inside it. You understand? So in that case, you are able to get two attachment controls on the same form, right? So you can now specify that, okay, this is for so document, this one is for another document. But then what you now need to do is, you now need to use Power Automate to then push the different documents attached for on each control to maybe, so let's say one is going to a document library for marketing, right? One is going for customer service. You understand? So the one that goes for marketing maybe is the first one. So you now find a way to use your Power Automate to pass that document to the document library for marketing, and the other one for customer service. So I'm not sure, it's not going to be possible like with Power Apps alone, submitting it to the document library, right? So you might need to use Power Automate, but it's definitely possible. I hope that answers your question.
Hello, Abdullah. Okay, maybe we'll join us shortly. Okay, thank you, Tunde. Any other question, please? Ola Charles is still raising his hand. Do you have something to say, please? Ola Charles. Hello, sorry, can people hear me? I just want to be sure.
Sorry, I forgot to lower my hands.
Okay, Abdullah, are you fine with the answer, please? Hello.
I can hear you, sir.
Hello.
Okay, are you fine with the response, please?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, who else has a question? It's becoming interesting. I'm enjoying this. At least, in fact, I can pick so many things from this question and answer session. So do we still have questions? Please let them come. Let's keep. So while we are waiting that, if you are new on this session, if you are just joining us for the first time, please let us know. Or you are new to Power Apps. So okay, so fine, you are new to Power Apps. Different. You are just joining us, joining this session for the first time. It's another thing. Can we just raise our, let's just click on let's just raise our hands.
I think they are new to all Microsoft technologies.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking. If you know you are new, let us know. So because we want to have a special focus, so that we'll know how to handle that part. and we'll be able to also advise. So like many of us here too that we are answering on this side, we are not at the Eldorado yet. We are not there yet. But of course, it's because of our consistency and our we die there attitude on doing this thing. That's why we could answer some of these questions. So if you are new, just let us know so that we'll know how to advise and make you also be a power addict, so to speak. Meanwhile, we are still taking questions. Or if there's any, okay, yes, Balogun. Okay, I think Balogun is new. He wants to say something. Please, quickly, just introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, my name is Balogun Olajide. I'm not really new, but I'm still learning and finding it difficult to do some things.
Okay, because I know that this voice, I've heard this voice before on this platform.
Yes, I'm not really new, but
Okay,
I'm
okay.
still really finding it difficult to do.
Okay, just chip in what you're
especially
trying
with
to achieve.
perhaps. But Mr. Babatunde has always been helping me
Oh,
with
that's
some
good.
of the things I get stuck with.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. That's the essence of the community. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Esther. This is my first time in this community.
Oh,
I'm
great.
new to our platform in general. I just started Power BI this week.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I think Foyin is here to
Yeah,
welcome
so
you.
please, that's a feminine voice. Is that Hello
Yeah.
Esther?
Yeah.
Please, I'm out for all the feminine voices. Please, we need you. Come and join us on Textilers. So we have a group that is dedicated for women and for ladies who want to learn and know more on the Power Platform. So aside from the general, sorry Ibrahim, I know I'm
No,
crashing
no
in here.
troubles. No troubles. You
Apart
can go
from
ahead, please.
general, apart from the general Power Naija community that we have, we also have textilers, and we also have special sessions also to train ladies on how to get started with Power Apps and Power Automate, and we're all just ladies learning together. So I will drop let me check if I can chat. We have our group on Telegram. So I will drop the Telegram link here. So please join us on our Telegram group to also learn more. But that's not taking you away from the bigger community. You stay here, but it's just like extra classes on the Telegram group.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
it's good to have you, Esther. So
Welcome.
we hope that one of these days you would come and you also be one of our facilitators. It's not impossible. So it's just
Yeah.
I'm having issue trying to send a message. I don't know. Just trying to navigate.
You mean a chat message?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay, you said you're trying to send message. Is it via these Teams or via this call or?
This call.
Oh, okay. I think if you want to be able to send messaging, you have to switch your account to you have to switch account. That's when you have access to be able to chat.
Ibrahim, can you chat? Are
Yes,
you
I
able
can.
to send? Okay, can you help me send our
Okay.
textilers link? I'll give you the URL. So please help me send it so Esther can access it. I hope she'll be able to see the message too.
That's what I'm saying. I can't see anything. Is it because I joined as a guest?
Oh, say hi,
Yes.
Ibrahim.
It's because she's a guest. I think it's because she's a guest.
Okay,
I've
so
sent
see it. Okay. Have you sent hi?
Yes, I've done that.
Oh no, okay. I guess she's not. I'm not seeing it.
So maybe she can follow on You can follow on Twitter so that.
Okay, yes, Esther, let's just start. That's the fastest route. Just look for tech stylers. That's tech_stylers. And you can also look for me on if you're on the Telegram group, I'm there for Olajide-Bello. If you also join from Kaizel, I'm also there. You can send me a hi message. I'll give you all the relevant links. I'm also on Twitter.
Not on the Telegram yet.
Sorry?
I'm not on the Telegram group.
Okay, you're not on the Power Platform community on the Telegram group?
No.
No, okay, so just look for me now. Look for me on Twitter, Foyin.
Okay.
My first name, Foyin, and B as in ball. I'm sure you can see my name should be showing as I'm talking. Are you good? Foyin, Foyin.
Yes.
Just follow me on Twitter. Let's catch up so we don't delay the others. Thank you so much for joining the call.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll give you all the links.
Okay, I followed you.
All right.
Okay, I have a question. Maybe that will be the last question for today for me.
Okay, please go ahead.
All right. So I have a calculated column on SharePoint list. So it's a percentage. So I'm calculating a percentage score. And in my Power Automate, I want to make use of that column so that when I'm sending message in Power Automate, I want to send that percentage. So it's a float. And I want to convert it to an integer. So let's, instead of 86.6666, I want to have something like 86% or 87 or even to 2 decimal places. So I use the int function, the expression in Power Automate, but this is not successful. I got the error message that I cannot convert maybe calculated columns from SharePoint. And I've made sure that I put the SharePoint on, maybe I put it on integer. The particular column settings on SharePoint is integer and it's even 0 decimal places. But when the value is coming to Power Automate and in the email is showing 86.666 and several decimal places, is there any workaround?
Okay, do you have someone who wants to assist us with that?
Okay. So there's a connector called number. I think number conversion. I think it's just numbers. So what you can do in that case is just initialize a variable at the start of your flow, maybe after the trigger. So that variable is what you now set. So when you are setting it, what you just do is you can just use, or you might not even need to set a variable really. So if you search for, when you search for the connectors, you see a number. I can't remember the exact name. I'll try and search and confirm that. So it's called number. So from there, you can pass a particular dynamic content into it. Then you select the format in which you want that number to come. So I think from there, you should be able to select if it's going to be, if it's going to have decimal places or not. But let me quickly, just a minute, let me confirm.
Okay, is it the format number? I have the functions with me. Format number?
Format number, yes.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Before we finish this class, I will try it out now. I will confirm.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, I'm also thinking, is it not possible to specify a 0 decimal places in your calculated column? Is that option not available?
Yes, I did.
Possible, but when it comes to flow, it kind of returns like long zeros.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Okay, so while we are waiting for that to be clarified, I think we have just 3 minutes to go. Do we have anyone who has any question and any other thing again? So I would have loved to show what I was trying to explain earlier, but I think that time is not really on our side. But I will try and put it up maybe next time. So let's just be rounding off. We thank our community lead in person of Olajide-Bello, who brought up this idea of question and answer. And really, I think it's been fantastic with the questions that people have asked here. I'm sure we have gained a lot. Even for some of us that have not tried this, it means that whenever we come across things like this, to just be an easy ride for us. Of course, I haven't heard this, and because we're still going to upload this video, we can make reference to it much later. So I don't know if anyone has anything to say before we round this up. And okay, again, is a thank you to the other community leads, Kola, Tunde, David, Abigail in absentia, Amara, thank you. Esther, you can hold Amara. She's also one of the textilers. She's also a
Hi, good
good
evening, everybody.
Amara. We also recognize
Yeah,
everyone.
hi, Amara.
Yeah. Balogun, Vicky, Yinka, Joy, and everyone. So thank you for attending. And for him, please have the floor. Is there anything you want to add?
Thank you so much, Ibrahim, for the awesome moderation and also facilitating and supporting to answer the questions. Like you said, I mean, so many amazing scenarios. Some we've not even thought about or experienced. So I think one of the things that the question and answer has also broadened, I mean, our perspective. So, sometimes you're always having scenarios in one particular area, but as we've been having this Q&A questions coming up, we start to think about the whole pyramid from another aspect. So I think this is really good, and maybe we'll also have it from time to time, not just to share, but also to gain from each other. So yes, a big thank you to all the community leaders for your consistency. I think we've had the Power Naija series now for going to 3 months every Saturday, and we've been consistent. We've not had any reason to put a post up to say, oh, we're sorry, we're not having the series today. And of course, that's not because of me, but it's because of every single person on this call. And there is no series without attendees. So thank you all for also taking out time to attend the session today. And we're going to continue. We wrapped up the app in a day, and we're going to look at another in a day course once we decide, maybe Flow in a day, or we might even decide to do Power Virtual Agents in a day. Whichever one will let us know, and we'll continue from next week Saturday. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, David, Kola, Abigail, Ibrahim, Tunde, Amara. Thank you so much for your time and for making this work. You are deeply appreciated. And thank you too for everyone that asked questions. Thank you, Ola, for all your amazing questions, and Yinka. And thank you, Esther, for joining our series for the. I think one of the major things that has helped me, and I'm sure every other person has had the same experience, is by staying connected to the community. You will find people that are able to help and support you as you go along your learning journey. So learning is easier when you learn with leverage, as I like to call it, with a support system. So don't stay disconnected, stay connected to the community. And the Power Platform community is the most loving community in technology in the technology world. So yes, stay connected, and we're ready to support you as much as we can. So thank you, guys. IB.
Thank you for that. So we call it a day. Thank you, David. Bye.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, bye everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
David, aren't you going to leave?
So it's only I will leave now.
Hi, caller.